It is a pleasure. Royal greetings. I welcome you, the Kingdom of Africa and the African descents and the diaspora in general. My name, as he has rightly said, is His Royal Majesty King Francis K Nwaneri, the third, the Paramount Chief of Africa, the founder of SWAF, and of course, I am not found wanting in the diaspora. Well, as you know, that the order of the day today is education. I am an aeronautic engineer. I was in the Air Force. I studied scuba diving in Canada and advanced ammunition development in South Africa, where I have acquired all levels of security degrees and all that. But today, the most important thing is, as a cultural man or as a custodian of culture and tradition, I have to hold the mountain, and that mountain is mountain of leadership in the royalties and royal kingdoms of Africa. We got to have someone who has to be a voice, who has to speak out, and so that others can concur in most of the things we do. I don't know. I think this is just the brief basis of me. And I have resided several long a time in foreign lands on quote, but that's what it's taken to be.
Thank you very much, and it's very high note. You see, like I was saying before, it is very uncommon in most of the cases, especially in these days, that we have a kind of royalty who come out to support the African people, because there are a lot of Africa that are actually marching, because we understand that we are not yet free. We understand that we don't need to be told that we are not free, because we look at all that is happening to us today. So it is a very big honor and how do I call it? A very positive thing to have a royal who is at the back of a kind of a push, telling the youth, hey, go on, push on to be free. Because what we all need is for our continent to be free. So now, the question I want to ask you in this area is it me that is thinking like that, or when you, among the royal, the royalty in Africa, is it the way you feel about it too? That you need to be there more to sort of support the youth that are marching for the interest of the African people? Or is it only few of you that are really inclined to this mindset of really supporting the people that are marching for the freedom of the African people?
All right. In every initiative, there's always an early runners, the background pushes of things that are going on in the whole of the African descent and the diaspora. Of course, it's quite a lot of trouble putting them together as kings of Africa. It's quite a lot of hassles putting a whole. There are some, okay, I will say this, in the African continent, we have lost a whole lot of kingdoms. So many kingdoms has been destabilized, dissolved and resolved into not being a kingdom. So some certain countries in Africa, first and foremost, have no kings. You talk about kings, they don't even know what is kingship. And that is the Western gimmicks that destabilize all those. But anyway, we are at the moment putting together in some countries where there are no kings, what we call elders that can coordinate the affairs of the other people in the community. And those elders will later be called chiefs, and chiefs will later be called kings in such countries like Comoros, like Burundi. We have no kings in this place. In those places, and there's quite a whole lot of stress. So with that being said, it's not all of us that are in this shoe at the moment because of such destabilizations of the Western world. Having said that, we then put together some certain plans of trying to communicate their country, even though they do not have kings, royalties, or chiefs who are presently officiating for their country. We put together SWAF. And SWAF now have what we call ambassadors, resident ambassadors, youth ambassadors, and roving ambassadors of SWAF. So they now move into these communities and areas where there are no kingships as functions of the kings and elders. In other ways, it's going to be temporary. Why? Because as long as we didn't have the kings or we didn't have the royalties begin to function, such plans that we have made now would now be taken away for the permanent situation. But yes, we have several kings who are together with SWAF. We have several kings who are working to make sure that SWAF is even representing stronger in the African community because the diaspora, because the time has come. The time is now. The time is now that all of us have to have a formidable effort as kings in order to make sure that things are moving the way we expect it to move, and as it was moving in the past.
Okay, thank you very much for that. You see, there is in this podcast, this particular channel, we pay a lot of attention to leadership. In that the kind of leadership that we have in Africa, we want is not serving us to start with. No, that is a plain fact. Because if the leadership in Africa were serving our interests, most of the things that are happening in the continent will not be happening the way it is happening. Of course, your Royal Highness, you should also know this, no? But in most of the cases, we have to argue to say that it is not because we are new to leadership. Because if you look at the kingship that we have had in Africa, the Oba, the Emir, these are people that have always represented the interests of their people. Leadership should be about the people. So when we are talking of SWAF, in this case now, forming this body for the interests of the people, in terms of leadership, where are we going? What really is the function of this body that is formed where you are the head?
All right, thank you very much. SWAF is an intermediary organization. SWAF is a voice for several kings of Africa. SWAF become, what do you call it, a mediator of several kingdoms in negotiations and in bringing in of businesses to their kingdoms here in Africa. SWAF has the leadership of all the kings. If not all of them, we have 99% of the leaderships of kingships in Africa in SWAF. And SWAF is standing out there to be a resuscitating, reviving, and restoring kind of organization. In other words, in mediation with other kingdoms, it becomes a bridge to get into other kingdoms. So there is all the kings of different parts of Africa in SWAF, as I'm talking to you. We have all the kings from, I can't even mention them now because it's quite a lot that are in SWAF Federation. We have SWAF International and SWAF Federation. SWAF Federation tend to handle the issues, only the issues of SWAF. And what are the issues? The affecting issues from the kingdoms. And like you have rightly asked, yes, the role of SWAF is to mediate, to become an advocate, and to resuscitate, revive the dignity of Africans. And what are these dignities, more especially in terms of repatriation and in terms of restitution? And the restitution is the return of our artifact that, of course, is being spoken about internationally, and we are filing up petitions for such returns. We also have the aspect of repatriation where SWAF is the motherland organization in cooperation with SOAD. SOAD is State of African Diaspora. SWAF is in cooperation with SOAD so that whatever SOAD is doing in the diaspora and SWAF is in, we can marry it together, or we can expedite whichever decision or whichever implementation that SOD wishes to see on ground.